evening, Charlton fans. I'm Ollie Green and you're watching 1905 coming live from the Valley. Here's what's coming up on this evening's show. We look back on Saturday's draw with Birmingham City and hear from Bob Peters, Laurie Wilson and Joe Gomez. We also look back at the development squad's Premier League clash with AFC Wimbledon. And we're delighted to be joined live in the studio by former Charlton midfielder Paul Mortimer and CFC player commentator Peter Finch. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Get to you guys in a minute. Don't forget you can send in your tweets via the hashtag CFC1905 or your comments on the Facebook group, CFC Official. So Paul, you haven't had much of a chance to see Charlton this season, but you've been following the results, haven't you?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I haven't had the opportunity to come down to the Valley and as much as I would like, but it's been a wonderful start. I mean, when you consider how it finished last season and how close they were to the relegation, to have, I think it's 7 wins or 4 draws and 7 wins. It's something like, or the other way around.
Yeah, it's that way. Yeah.
It's a fantastic start, and I was kind of concerned because new manager, lots of new players, nucleus of the side gone, and then all of a sudden, they've produced fantastic results. They played against some of the teams at the top and really done themselves proud.
From the outside looking in, and Pete, question for you as well. You look at the table, you look at that form, we're pretty much nearly a quarter of the way through the season. Playoff push, maybe outside of a chance, or a bit more of an outside chance?
I think you can't even talk about the playoffs. I don't think you can talk about the playoffs till after Christmas. Yeah,
till March for me. Till March.
It's far too early. The season's still. I mean, and I know you're saying it's quarter, but it's still quite embryonic. And,
of course, yeah.
And we have played some of the bigger sides, but when injuries take hold, we've got Johan Goodmanson out at the moment, so maybe get an injury. If you've got an injury to Igor Vetakeli, then it stretches things, doesn't it? So it's too early to say.
You say we played most of the tough sides already in division. The next 5 games, I think we can take a look at what we've got coming up in the next 5 games. It's potentially maybe an easier next 5 than the last 5 we had, but then again, there's no easy games in this division, is there?
There are no easy games, and we've seen it throughout this. I mean, and Paul will probably has seen a few games. Every team in the Championship can beat any other team on any given day.
Well, the Championship is unforgiving. It's cruel because it is literally every single game there is something on. There are no easy gimme games, and the volume of it. Saturday midweek and what you were talking about. In terms of the quarter of the season gone, you've got the cup to come yet. If the team does well in the cup, if they're flying, if they get 1 or 2 injuries, the sheer volume of the whole thing is really difficult. And as they keep performing the way they do, the profile, managing expectation,
of course, yeah.
All of that, the pressure on the players, because some of them may not have experienced this before. Also, come the transfer window, if players are playing well, you're going to have some of the bigger clubs sniffing around them. So there is so much more left to come. I mean, Bob Peters will tell you there's more to come from his side, but there is so much more that can happen, go well, not so well in the coming months.
When you look at the Championship table as it is now, you look at Cardiff, Fulham, Norwich coming down. Cardiff and Fulham struggled to start with, lost their managers. The gap between the 2 divisions now, do you think, people say it's a close shot with the TV money in the Premiership, but the table doesn't show that. Do you think the gap is bigger or less than perhaps maybe when you were playing?
It's different from when I was playing because of the financial aspects, but the gap is huge. I mean, the 2 clubs you've spoken about are suffering from some form of hangover. I mean, what links them is the continual changing of managers.
Yeah.
That anyone who does that is a recipe for disaster. So that's probably why they're in somewhat false of positions. You will see them to start to change. I mean, Fulham not so much, because I think they've changed their whole squad. A lot of the senior players have gone. Cardiff, you expect to start performing. The difference is huge because of the resources they have. They can go and spend millions on a player for the Championship that very few other teams can. So it is difficult, but it's the place where everyone wants to be.
Is there is it different style of football? Is the football different to when you were playing now in the Championship and at the Premier League? Because you played at both levels.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, it's a difference in quality. It's a difference in quality, and if you look at, in my day, I look at the players now, and the players are huge. They are really like thoroughbreds. I think they're 10% bigger than when I was there, but there's no fat on them. It's just pure muscle.
Yeah.
The fitness aspect is similar for most teams. It's just about the genuine quality. The pace is quicker, the players are fitter, more athletic, they get them down the pitch more. I tend to worry about the genuine quality of teams. the gulf is huge between the Premier League and the Championship, just based on the calibre of player that the teams can bring in.
You talk about Cardiff and Fulham, change of managers and that bit of instability. You were obviously here under Lenny Lawrence at first, wasn't it? And then Alan Kirbishley. I mean, talk to us a little bit about playing under someone like Alan Kirbishley here.
Well, let me start with Lenny. Lenny was fantastic. He's the best manager I've played for, because he just allowed you to play, and he was very good with words. He tended to use the right vocabulary that would make you, he'd be having a go at you, but somehow it would still make you feel good. Yeah, he was good. I mean, Curbs understood good players. He could pick a side, pick some great teams who could organise themselves and get on with it. And it coincided with incredible success for the club. And to a certain degree, that Curbs leaving did cause problems, because throughout that time they've never had to pick a manager. Now, within that time financially, everything changed. What you paid players, what you paid managers. The budgets that teams had completely changed. So from the start of when Curbs was made, it came to that point, and really the people in charge had never picked a manager before. So that was really new to them, and then having to do it publicly, giving, I think it was Ian Dowie, that much money, it was a first. And if they had it to do again, I guess they'd be doing it slightly differently.
I mean, you saw the best and the worst of Charlton from the 80s all the way through to winning that playoff run. You were involved in the squad that day, was that right?
The injuries took hold. That wasn't, it was one of the best and worst days of my career. Not being able to be out on the pitch and help the boys, but they didn't need my help. It was a fabulous day, and it was a really fantastic end to the day. And the thing about playoff finals is you have to win them. You do have to. It's cruel because the boys went up and picked up the trophy, and Sunderland just walked off. There is nothing for the losers, so it's one that you have to win. I felt my heart went for Sunderland because I had some mates there, Noel Quinn, who I knew quite well, it was hard for them, but I tend to think that if it'd still been playing now, it'd be 56-all because the two teams were so evenly matched. It was a great day.
There is a cracking photograph outside the back of the North Stand, and it's you diving on top of everyone in your suit.
You were straight in there, weren't you?
But the dive, you look like Tom Daley. You've got it. The technique is superb, absolutely superb technique.
Yeah, I love that. Did that in that suit. My father-in-law's got that suit actually. Yeah, it was a wonderful day. It really was a wonderful day in the history of this club. It's a unique club. And for us to get back to the Premier League or the Promised Land the way we did, it was wonderful.
Of course, sorry, Pete, go on.
The thing about that was we came up and then came straight back down again, but kept faith with the manager and the players. The only real change was Danny Mills leaving, and I think Dean Kiley came in, and I think Andy Hunt came in. There was a couple.
Well, he bought well. He learned and bought well, and that was the testament of the manager. He understood. He came down, understood what was required to sustain Premier League football, and it proved. I mean, he was established Premier League manager. We were in the top 10, top 12 every single year, and I tend to think that's why there are divisions and leagues. Charlton were never going to win the Premier League, but they were always going to be there or thereabouts. And again, managing expectation is probably what caused the downfall.
And it certainly it got harder for Curbs in the last few seasons because the fans thought, we've done mid-table, we've done that, we want Europe now, and maybe that is overreaching slightly.
Well, again, it's about understanding what Charlton is. At that stage, that's where we were, and doing really well too. And like I said, it's about managing expectation. It's about the fans understanding this is where every now and again you're going to peak. We're going to do well in the cup, or we're going to finish in the top 6 or 7, or even higher than that. But really, we were going to be anywhere between 12th and 8th. That's where we were going to be. That's where we should have been happy. But for some odd reason, it wasn't enough for some, and that started the downfall, the decline.
How was it just going back to playing in the Premier League for Charlton, having won that playoff final? Did you think that maybe you weren't going to get another chance of playing in the Premiership? When you were out there, you scored I think against Leeds, you scored an unbelievable goal. It must have been. Was that a bonus for you, or was that really where you saw yourself? You should have been playing.
Well, I'd played in the old First Division, so I played at the higher level for a huge chunk of my career, and I didn't have a problem with that. I just enjoyed playing. I mean, when we went up, I think we underestimated how huge it was, because the minute the season started, bang, it was an explosion. It was absolutely incredible. All of a sudden, everything was happening, and it was fantastic, and you just wanted to stay there. It was difficult, but it was something you wanted to stay every season doing. It was difficult, but it was good fun.
Okay, Birmingham City were the visitors to the Valley on Saturday as the Addicts looked to extend their unbeaten run to 11 championship games. Here's all the highlights and match reaction.
Birmingham City returned to the capital 4 days after winning 3-1 at Millwall. Charlton also impressive winners in midweek away to Norwich City. Charlton have lost only one of their last 12 matches in all competitions as they come forward here looking for an early goal. And they thought they got it for a moment. The effort wide of the post in the end from Vitakile. Really well to pick out Royce Wiggins. Bulo. Dangerous cross, left-footed! And Vitakile puts Charlton in front. They haven't scored in 5 matches, having hit 5 early in the season. Riley. Very partially cleared. Birmingham defence, and they are on the back foot now. Cousins deflects out, and the shot in the end is straight. And Darren Randolph. Eddie Cotterill recently pulled into the Wales squad at Millwall in midweek. Cotterill on the ball again. There's the overlapping run as well. Haddis cuts the ball back. And it's in! It won't count though. Arthur had strayed into an offside position. Arthur thought that he got his first goal of the season in only his second appearance. Oh, I think it was the player on the line in the offside position. Vitakile away from his man. Looking for his second goal of the afternoon. Wriggles away from his marker. Plays it across. Over the crossbar. Laurie Wilson. Free kick comes in and it's found away by Henderson. Over at the far post. Here comes another corner. Delivered to the edge of the area to Gleeson. And the shot this time will count. It's David Davis who's scored his first goal since joining from Wolves. Really good left-footed finish into the bottom corner. Birmingham supporters moving their side on to go for the winner now. Larry Gray, the substitute, really highly thought of in the Birmingham hierarchy. The cross comes in. They were queuing up to score, and Clayton Donaldson couldn't quite get there. Ahead of the goalkeeper Henderson. And there goes the full-time whistle. Birmingham couldn't find a late winner. All square and a draw just about a fair result.
I think we started pretty well. First 15 minutes, got a good goal, controlled the game, and then we looked the better side. And then they stepped up, Birmingham, and they gave us a very tough game. They score an equaliser. I think after all it was a fair equaliser. We had a bit of some chances second half. We came well out of the dressing room, but overall, I think we lacked the quality to win the game, and that's what it's all about. So all credits to Birmingham. They give us a tough game, and we have to settle for 1 point.
It's a nice, obviously, it's a nice thing to come away from the game and going into this international break still unbeaten. It's nice for the fans, obviously, to still be able to talk to other fans and their family, and that being unbeaten. But I think that it's probably too lost today.
Okay, Peter, a 1-1 draw, still unbeaten, 11 games, but maybe a bit disappointing on the day.
I think so. Coming to the game after the good win against Norwich, and I know we'd rode our luck a little bit in the second half against Norwich, but we still come away with the 3 points. So you're thinking coming home against Birmingham, a team have been struggling and hoping to get a win, and 1-1's disappointing. And the first 15 minutes up until the goal, I thought Charlton was superb.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a theme, isn't it? We get that one goal, I just wonder what happened in that just after that, because in fact when Birmingham scored later on,
Yeah.
this sort of reverse happened, and then we started going back on the front foot. We missed a couple of chances. Laurie with a good chance towards the end,
And Chris Solly went on a rampage
Chris Solly as well, out of nowhere. But
I can't put my finger. I think once we scored, and Frederick Bulow laid the ball on from the left-hand side, and then he switched to the right-hand side, and I think we lost a bit by doing that. And I know Birmingham changed their style and formation a little bit, changed their tactics, but disappointing.
Of course, we were missing a couple of key players. Johan, obviously, from the creative side of things, but also Tao at the back. You don't think from the creative side of things, but for the football we play, playing football from the back, I think it was something we missed, wasn't it?
But I think Michael Morrison's passing was fine. What I think possibly might have been missing is Tel Ben-Aim's the experience. And he's a classy defender. When he's played at Champions League level, Premier League level, he's an international defender. He's no fool. And you're going to miss a play like that, I think.
A couple of key moments, the offside goal that Birmingham were claiming.
Yeah.
Interesting one looking back at it. There's a couple of things that perhaps some of us missed initially. And of course, it's clear as mud, isn't it? The offside rule when the goalkeeper's ahead of play and all that kind of stuff. And what did you make of that?
As soon as watching it in commentary, I thought it was a goal. I thought it was a goal, and I was quite surprised when he ruled it off. And seeing some images and seeing it since, it could go either way. It's one of those really tight. But there's, I think, if Donaldson leaves the ball alone on the line, it's a goal because he's not interfering. But as soon as he touches that ball, the referee's assistant had to make a decision, and luckily for us, he did.
Okay, now we've touched on it a little bit earlier, but we can now look at the next 5 games we've got coming up. First of all, Bournemouth away. It's going to be a tough trip. They're a good side, perhaps haven't done as well as they could have done so far this season after a good start, but no Jan, which is going to be important.
No Jan suspended, had a raised boot incident on the game at the weekend.
On purpose, do you think? Or?
No, I don't think so. I would have thought so.
Wouldn't suggest
but
that.
I'm not going to say he would do it on purpose, am I, really?
Well, we're very relieved that he's not playing anyway. Aren't we?
Well, I'd like to have seen him having a good old battle with Andre BK at the back. That would have been just mouth-watering, because
that would have been just on a Richter scale, wouldn't it?
BK. That would have been an interesting game. But Bournemouth are a good side, good footballing side, and Callum Wilson, I think, is scoring goals.
Scoring a lot of goals.
Who I think you met during that one month.
Yes, I did. It's funny, an ex-Charlton player, Jason Tyndall, is assistant manager there, and I had a cup of tea with him and met the players and met Callum, and they're a decent side, Bournemouth. They'll give Charlton a game. They pass it well, they keep it well, and in Callum Wilson they've got a goal scorer, a genuine goal scorer. So it's not going to be an easy game for Charlton. And you're right, that I think that, you know, if Jan Kermorgant was there, I had a chat with him too, actually.
Yeah.
That would have been a titanic battle between, Andre BK and Kermorgant, without a doubt.
Coming off the back of that, we've got Bolton here, next game at the Valley. It's been loss after loss over the last few weeks. Obviously, Dougie Freeman's now gone. But do you think that's probably maybe a bad time to play him now? They might have a manager in by then.
It could be, yeah. You usually find a new manager comes in, sometimes it gives the players a lift. It might only be a temporary lift, but knowing Charlton's luck, they'll appoint him 2 days before the game, and then they'll be flying. So it'll be a difficult game, but it's one we've got to be looking to win, really.
Well, of course, in that form, and Fulham coming off the back of that. Paul, you've seen both of those sides.
I saw Bolton Fulham recently, and Fulham won 4-0, and on the outset it looks like it was a beating, but for a long period in that first half it was neck and neck, and both sides were really nervy. And it was a slip from a Bolton defender that calmed Fulham's nerves, because he allowed Rodallega to go through and score. And the thing about Bolton is a little bit like you were just speaking about the Birmingham game. Coming off the Norwich game, everyone would be thinking, well, went to Norwich and did really well, got a result, should beat Birmingham. This division
doesn't work like
that. And that's why the Bournemouth game, the Bolton and Fulham are going to be difficult, especially the Bolton, because you just don't know what you're going to get. So the players will go into it. It may be get after them, come on. But the Bolton players will think, oh, we've got nothing to lose. We've got to impress our manager. We've got absolutely nothing to lose. So they play with no fear. So it could be absolutely anything. It's a real difficult game. The Fulham game is difficult too, because I think they're about to make a charge.
Yeah, I think that's probably likely. Just briefly for Bolton, if they don't have a new man in charge, well, then we could see Andy Hughes in charge of Bolton, as he was last weekend, which has been nice to see, I think. Yeah,
Andy Hughes is very popular with the players here, especially the younger players and the senior players here, and I'm pretty sure he's quite popular up at Bolton, because he's that sort of character. And he'll get them motivated if he's in charge for that game, and without a shadow of doubt. And he knows his football. He's no mug. But it would be good to see him, and it'd be even better if we could beat them and just take that little edge off of that smile a little bit.
And Fulham, of course, Scott Parker coming back.
Yeah, well, it's at Fulham, isn't it? I think so. Yeah, I think Scott Parker could be getting a few boos here and there.
It's been 10 years now.
That game.
You are
Just thinking about it now.
you're going to be there. That'll be your first chance to see us.
It's going to be my first chance to see Charlton live. I think I'm going. Yeah, I think I'll be there.
Are you working as a journal?
I'm doing a bit. Yeah, I'm going to be working, but you know, it was one I couldn't really turn down. It was offered to me. It was one I couldn't really turn down. So I'm looking forward to it.
Should be a good game.
Charlton fan on the day.
Good man. That's what we like to hear.
Just on Scott Parker again, Pete. Do you not think now? You mentioned he might be in
for
10 years.
Yeah, I sort of understood why he left. I was disappointed because we were on the verge. I thought we were really playing well, and we were sort of in a very good position in the league. And I thought that the timing was awful. But you know, you can understand him. I think he made the wrong move by going to Chelsea. I think he should have waited till the summer. But 10 years ago, let's leave it. But I'm sure there's fans out there that won't and don't want to.
Let's talk a little bit more about this unbeaten run now. We're on 11. It's I think not much has been made about it really. We're sort of going under the radar purely because we're sort of 6th, 7th.
I think it's because we're not winning so many. Had we won a few more games,
do you think?
But that I think you ask Bob Peters and he'd have rather had 7 or 8 wins, wouldn't he? To be honest, as all the players would. But yeah, under the radar. But such a long way to go. But. If we can keep it going, but that will drive the players on. I would think that would be in their minds. Let's keep this run going.
Yeah, 15 games is our club record, so
it's something to aim at. But in the hardest league, I mean, I think if we were going to break the record, I think we'd need to be in a different league to make it easier. Because, as Paul said, the Championship is one of the most unforgiving leagues in football.
Okay, moving on. The news that 17-year-old defender Joe Gomez signed a 3-year deal with the club on Tuesday came as great news to everyone in SE7. We caught up with him on Tuesday to talk about his decision to commit to Charlton long term.
Just after you signed your new deal, how do you feel?
I'm excited. I'm happy that it's done now, and just look forward to playing and pushing on now.
I mean, obviously, I guess your representatives and your family have been talking to the club for a while.
Yeah.
But as you say, you must be pleased to finally get it done.
Yeah, it's a relief because the intention was to get it done as quickly as possible. Obviously, it took a little while, but I mean, it's good that it's done now. I'm happy.
And following on from Carlin last week.
Yeah.
So obviously you know him well, and he knows you well. So it must be nice that you and do the same.
It's nice to see that, especially us being the younger boys, the youth are getting a chance to play, and obviously that's exciting for us, and that gives us an incentive to sign as well. So it's really good.
I mean, you're only 17, but you've been here for quite a few years at Charlton.
Yeah.
You must have seen people you've played with in the 18s in that time. Go on and get their pro deals and come through.
Yeah.
So now it's happening to you. I guess it's must be a day you've been waiting a long time for.
Yeah. Especially since I've been involved a little bit, I've just wanted to get it sorted and get out of the way. So, but looking up from a few years ago, it's a bit weird. Nowadays, it's me. It's happening to you, but I'm happy.
I guess it perhaps a sort of a whirlwind few months for you because since Bob's came in, you went to Belgium in pre-season, first team debut, and now a professional contract. Yeah,
it's all happened really quickly. To be honest, when I come back in pre-season, I never would have thought 6 months down the line where I could have been. So, but I just got to keep pushing on now and just use this as a stepping stone to keep working.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? It's one thing getting that contract, it's one thing now pushing on and trying to get several more in the future.
Yeah, that's the aim. Just make this the first of many, hopefully.
And obviously, you're out at the moment. That injury in the game at Norwich last week. Just a quick update on your ankle.
I'm just in boot at the moment for a little while, but I'm young, so I think I should be back quicker than expected. But hopefully, not too long now.
And just a word on that Norwich game when you start in general. I mean, that Norwich game was a fantastic win. But how was it for you at Carrow Road last week?
It was a great experience. It's probably the biggest crowd I played against yet, but played in front of. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm learning as well, to take in all the surroundings and that. But I mean, it's against top opposition as well. Them coming down from the Premier League, so I'm learning from it.
And taking on players like Nathan Redmond and Wes Houlihan, Premier League players.
Yeah.
And just you get back from injury and keep doing that.
Yeah. That's the aim. Yeah.
Okay, Paul, all week fans have been sending in their questions for you via Twitter and all the social media, so we're going to get straight into that now and ask you a few questions. We've just been talking about it during the VT there. This is from Mark Wyndham. Thanks for your question. Using past and present players, can you pick your favourite Charlton 11? And you've said you've already had a little think about it.
I had to think about it at work today. So in goal, it would have to be Sasha. It would have to be Big Sash. Sorry, Bob Boulder. It would have to be Big Sash.
For that one,
and Mike Salmon.
No,
because he was a wonderful keeper, and I saw something with him that I've never seen before. Come to the end of training, you'll have half an hour shooting, and he was in goal for 45 minutes and never let a goal in.
Wow.
I've never seen that before in training, and we were trying our socks off in the end because after a while you kind of realise no one scored, and it was magnificent, and he is singly for the Rise the best keeper that I've played with.
In that promotion season, in the playoff season, that last few, the amount of clean sheets he kept.
He was wonderful keeper
for a player with no league experience,
and a lovely guy. So he'd be my goalkeeper. Right back would be John Humphreys. He should have played for England, John Humphreys. I think he was good enough at that stage. He was good enough to do it. Without a doubt, he should have played for England. He was like a robot. He was the fittest person I know. Could play. Good communicator. Should have gone on and played for a bigger club. No disrespect to Charlton. Without a doubt, he could have. He was that for me. He was that good. My left back would be Chris Powell because again he was a robot. He just never got injured, and he was 7.5 to 8.5 out of 10 every week, somewhere between that. And he was just so consistent, model professional, good guy, team player. He'd be an example to all the young Charlton players.
And he did get his England caps as well.
Fantastic and well deserved. My centre halves would be Richard Roof.
Glad you said that.
Richard Roof. He's a good lad. Career cut short. Very good player. Very underestimated.
Another one that could have played for it. Should have played for England.
He should have been looked at without a doubt. I think he could have played for a bigger club. No disrespect to Charlton again, but he was a very, very good player. My other centre half was Peter Shirtliff from the era when I started. He was just he was good for me. He was a leader. He could play. He looked after you. Do you know what I mean? He protected the young players. He was really good, and a really nice guy too. So that would be my back four. My midfield, I'll start with the two wide players. On the right, it would be Robert Lee, who was, he's gone on to do what he did, and we all knew it when he played. He was good enough to go and play for England, play for a big club, and everything he did was not a surprise to me at all. The only surprise that it didn't come earlier for me. He was that good. On the left, Mark Stewart, who was he was a good player. Mark Stewart, very underrated. Could score goals, could make goals, could beat players, could create. Good player for me, very, very good.
Not Ralph Milne.
No, not Ralphie. No. Oh no, Ralph's a nice guy, but Mark Stewart would be on the left. Two midfielders would be Mark Kinsella. He'd be, he was. I remember him coming on trial. I think it was from Colchester. He came on trial, and he was absolutely brilliant. It's the best trial I've ever seen. And initially, he got sent back.
Oh, really?
He got sent back. We turned up one day. Where's he gone? He was absolutely magnificent. It's the best trial you've ever seen. It was just too good to be true. And he's turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful player and a fantastic leader for this club. So with him would be someone I think he'd played with anyway, was Keith Jones, who was hugely underrated. Hugely underrated. A 10 times better player than most people saw. Can play. Could run like you wouldn't believe. Fit, strong, good feet, a leader of men. Yeah, he'd be fantastic. Up front would be Clive.
Got to be Clive, yeah.
Clive was a good player for me, fantastic player. Goal scorer, easy to find with the ball, link play well, but could finish. And that final was him all over. But such a humble lad too. Wasn't one to shout from the rooftops. He'd just go home after an achievement like that. And Carl Lieben would be my other centre forward. Sorry to Paul Williams and people like that, but Carl Lieben was. I've been fortunate enough to play with some very good centre forwards, and he was up there with them. I think people misunderstood Carl. I think a good season for Carl would be maybe 12 to 15 goals, but he'd make 35, and that's what people didn't see. He was a centre forward with a midfielder's brain. He could play midfield without a doubt. He could pass. he linked play really well, held the ball really well for one so young, and the mental strength he showed, because he went through a tough spell when he was playing when he shouldn't have been playing, but we didn't have anyone else, so he played a long period when he wasn't scoring. But what he did for the team, everyone knows, anyone who's played with him, all the centre forwards that got great moves, you know, a lot of it was due to playing with Carl. He was a player's player, you know, and you know, I'd row with anyone. I've done it on radio where people have had a pop at Carl because they see what they see. They don't see what players see. He's a wonderful player.
I think a lot of fans who remember watching those days, I think they appreciate him more now.
Yes.
They understand. You get more understanding of the game.
Yep.
And you can
At the time, you're a fan
did.
and you want your team to
Just
do
wanna score a
well. You know, he probably wasn't, you know, the most clinical of finishers. Those chances, that wasn't for him.
But how many goals did Paul Williams get as a result of Carl
Exactly
Lieber?
right. For me, and Carl, you know, I kind of felt I could pass a bit, and you could find Carl with your eyes shut. You know, you kind of knew where he'd be, but when you gave it to him, it didn't matter how the ball went to him, it stuck. And for me, that was the thing. So other players could make runs because they knew that the ball went into Carl, he's setting out for you. And he would take a terrible kicking to set the ball up for other people to go and do what they do. So for me, fantastic player.
Okay, let's talk about, we'll skip a couple of questions now. That was as close to a perfect answer as I think we're going to get. Okay. Do you have a favourite goal that you scored for Charlton? That's from Jason Hennessy. You scored a few belters, didn't you?
Yeah. It will always be the first one for me. It will always be the first one. I'm seeing a few now. I remember that Reading, yeah. My father, my in-laws are from Reading, they're Reading fans, they were at that game. Yeah, yeah, come on.
Oh, nice.
That's again one against Leicester, but
yeah, I remember that.
One against Bradford that most fans always sort of.
Yeah. That was. I mean, you know, I've been fortunate enough to score some decent goals in front of these fans, and this one at Leeds. I think if I remember, like Lee Bowyer was playing for Leeds. Have I got that right?
I think he.
What he said, as I've cut inside, I can hear him shouting to his teammates, let him shoot with his right foot. Let him shoot with his right foot. Scored, and as I was running back, I said to Bo, come on, you've seen me. And he actually went, Maltz. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, fine. So yeah, I mean, yeah, decent one at Chelsea, but you know, it's the first. Yeah. Even though the commentator put it down as Carl Lieber. And very quick story, my daughter, who was at university in Cardiff, this, you know, she never told anyone I played football, but it came up. Mm-hmm. And I think one of her mates had seen this on YouTube, and they'd had a row because it said Carl Lieber, that her daughter's mate wouldn't believe it. So she went on Facebook and went, for God's sake, this is my dad. It is not Carl Lieber. You people get it right. She had the ump. So, but it was a lovely day. We played really well. It was a good side, and they were Mike Flanagan's boots that I scored in, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because mine had busted. So yeah, it was a great time to be a Charlton player. So it was, you know, the first goal was something special. My family were there. My wife was in the stand with our oldest daughter who didn't have a clue what was going on, and it was a wonderful day.
Okay, fantastic. And finally, we'll skip to number 6. You were always an amazing dribbler, says Tom Bristow. Do you have a footballing inspiration as a child?
Inspiration? I always wanted to be John Barnes.
Okay.
And for me, the dream for me was he came and played, didn't he? He did. Right at the end of his career, he came and played. And the weird thing about that is, the first week he came to training, well, you could have burgled the training ground because everyone came out and watched John Barnes train all week long. And I remember us playing, I think we only ever played in a reserve game, Southampton. And I can't remember what the game was like, but it was out here because I was just running around thinking, I'm playing with you know when there's just someone like
starstruck,
literally, and I don't get starstruck, but I'm playing with John Barnes. And for me, I always wanted to be John Barnes. So, you know, to play with him was great for me. You know?
Touching on those dribbling skills, something else that the fans always remember is that night at the Den in 1995, and you just completely making a mugger there.
You know what?
Fullback. It
was just the best game. I think Lee Bowyer got sent off, didn't he?
He did early on,
yeah. Thanks to Alex Ray, I think, and Keith Stevens got sent off too, I think.
Levelled it up.
And it's just a place you want to go and play well, isn't it? Especially being a Charlton player.
Well, that's the last time we did go there and play well.
Yeah, I know. It's just, I mean, I've always enjoyed that, and it was a wonderful day. It really was. It was a wonderful game, and it's one that I enjoy being a Charlton player when you go there and play well.
Okay, great. Earlier we spoke to Rich Cawley, Deputy Sports Editor and Charlton correspondent at the South London Press, to ask him about his thoughts on Charlton's start to the season.
So, Rich, have you been surprised by the start to the season Charlton have made?
I think if I'm being honest, I'd say a little bit, yeah, because that I saw in pre-season, albeit obviously quite a few of them, the matches weren't over here in England. You could see it was a squad that was sort of trying to settle down and bed in with some new sort of ideas and the thoughts of the way that Bob Peters wanted to play. So it surprised me a little bit. I thought that it might take a bit longer to hit the ground running, as it were. And so to be unbeaten now and the way they've played, I think I've got to be honest and say it has surprised me. But it's been nice to see.
You mentioned the way they played. They have changed their style a lot, haven't they? I mean, it's been very different to the Charlton sides that we've seen in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, isn't it?
No, definitely. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, well said already that Bob likes the defenders to play out from the back. He's obviously got players that can do that. I think the defence is one of the strongest areas of the team, and that's been borne out recently. And the side have come under a bit of pressure in some of those matches of late, but it's certainly changed the way they play. They do seem to get the ball down and pass it around. It obviously helps that the Valley is a much better surface this season, but it has been a significant shift away from what we've seen before.
Mm-hmm. Against Birmingham, obviously, we were missing Tal Ben Haim. We seemed to struggle to get it out the back. Maybe do you think that was a problem?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, if you look at those of the two centre backs, I think Tal is the one that tends to be has more onus. I mean, Andre BK can pass it out, but I think Tal is the one that you expect perhaps to carry it a bit more comfortably. Although he was a little bit shaky at Rotherham a few weeks back, but I think he was a big miss. I mean, actually, Michael Morrison didn't do a whole lot wrong, but I think that's actually been a surprise. When you saw Tal Ben Haim come in and Andre come in, you sort of wondered, oh, okay, they've kind of been around the block a bit. Are they still going to have a lot to contribute? And the exact opposite has been the case. I mean, they've probably been two of the stars, I think, of the start of the season so far.
I suppose they've been the unsung heroes, really, haven't they? Because you've got the likes of Vetterkele and Goodmanson who maybe take the plaudits, but those two have been really solid, haven't they?
Yeah, and I've been hugely impressed with the pair of them. I think that BK seems to have that sort of authority at the back. I think he's perhaps more the guy that kind of rallies the troops, and you look to people like that. And as I say, with Tal Ben Haim, he's had some big clubs. You wondered, the question is, has he got the appetite and still the desire? And I think he's showing that in the opening weeks of the season that he has. So I certainly think, as I said a minute ago, I think the defence has been a real plus. I think defensively, you look at that back four when Chris Solly's in there and Royce Wiggins and obviously Stephen Henderson's done well in goal of late as well. It's a very, very strong back line. I mean, you've got Joe Gomez who has come in and really impressed me when I've seen him play as well. So I think the defence has been absolutely central, albeit that Eagle obviously has popped up with a lot of the goals.
We're past the 10-game mark now. What do you think can be a realistic aspiration for Charlton this season?
Well, I've said all along in recent weeks that I think top 10 I think would be fantastic. I think there's no reason why Charlton can't do that. If they get lucky or just avoid injuries and sort of selection problems, then I think that they've got a real chance of having a go at the top six. I mean, there's a few different sort of issues there. I think obviously there's reliance a little bit at the moment on Eagle to score a lot of the goals. Obviously, as we've touched on there, the back line looks solid. You don't really want anybody out for any length of time there either. So I think as long as the squad stays fit, and maybe there are a few additions made January around that sort of period, I think there's a real good chance at least top 10. And you never know, with a decent run, there's certainly the quality there for them to maybe trouble the top six.
Okay, Paul, we'll take an opportunity now to talk about some of your kick it out work and professional player engagement manager. That's your title. Tell us a little bit about what it involves.
Well, my job is to reintroduce kick it out to all the league players up and down the country. So if you imagine all 92 clubs, I'm supposed to meet all the players at each club. There was a spell maybe 18 months ago where Kick It Out have sort of a month of action where the players wear the T-shirt to warm up in and things like that. Well, 2 years ago, a group of players refused to wear the T-shirt because they thought that Kick It Out didn't back the players and support the players. And what I found, even meeting the players now, is even at that time, players didn't actually know what Kick It Out was. Didn't understand what they thought with the PFA or the FA or something like that. So my job is to reintroduce, players and clubs to Kick It Out and what we do and what we can offer them. You're talking about when those players, Rio Ferdinand, obviously quite high profile and outspoken very recently, in fact, with his book coming out, calling Kick It Out useless, things like that. Is that just a lack of understanding about what you do? Well, again, we're there to assist the players. That's what we're there to do. We're there to assist the players when incidents of discrimination turn up. We're there to offer support and guidance to the players, but also to educate them on how to report, how to deal with issues that may come up. Because a lot of players something will happen and they'll go to Twitter. And possibly that's not the best place to go. Yeah. So what we try to do is educate players on how to report things, because things are going to happen. How to report if a teammate has been abused or, is feeling a certain aspect of pressure. And that's how we work. And it's literally about the players, about football clubs, about the players, about the managers, and how to make sure that they don't fall foul of aspects of discrimination.
And you're using a lot of young players, the next 20 ambassadors. Explain what they're all about.
Well, that was to sort of commemorate our 20th year, which was last year. What we've done is we've got 20 of the brightest young players in the country as ambassadors. And what they do is they, based around their club and in parts of the country, they go into the community and just inspire the young kids. By question and answers, coaching sessions, just raising awareness as to the good work of Kick It Out and their clubs, because we work with the community. This year our focus is on grassroots and community. So what we want to do is go back into the community, because for me that's where the fan base comes from. Go back into the community and help the community to raise awareness around discrimination and promote I suppose combat discrimination and things like that, and promote equality. It's become quite a pertinent moment this afternoon. The Football League have announced they'll be doing a review looking into the lack of black and Asian managers in the game. The Rooney Rule is something that keeps coming up time and time again, and perhaps that's something that they will be looking into. I mean, where do you stand on the Rooney Rule and indeed the Football League review? Well, the way I look at it is this. If you look at I hate statistics, I really do. But if I was to just run a few very quickly, 30%, 25 to 30% black and ethnic minority players in football at the moment, 17 to 18% are on the FA courses, 3% at the moment are employed. So there is an issue. There's absolutely no disputing that there is an issue. So the Rooney Rule has been slightly misrepresented because people, it's been represented as forcing owners to give black and ethnic minority managers and coaches jobs. It's not the case. I myself have experienced that glass ceiling where you don't get the opportunity to actually interview for jobs, because that's what it's about. It's about interviewing. I would like the opportunity to go in to see chairmen and knock their socks off and show them that I'm good enough for the job, but you're not getting that opportunity. And there are a lot of coaches. I mean, I think I was listening to the TV and reading the other day, I think it's Jeffrey Webb from FIFA was talking about Eddie Newton, who I've met. I went to see Eddie Newton, and people like that are finding it difficult. Eddie's won the Champions League with Chelsea. His CV is enough to get him an interview, and he's not getting any. So there is an issue, but I think we're very frightened to actually admit there's an issue, what we're going to do about it. Now, this is a slow step. There's absolutely no disputing that. It is a slow step, but it is a step. Now we have to keep the momentum rolling and keep talking about it and keep batting it about, so that the debate actually does come up and people do talk about it and people do accept there is an issue to be dealt with there. I think it's maybe slightly reactionary from Greg Clark, in that perhaps you should have done something a while back, rather than now saying we'll do this now and then come the end of the season they're saying it's going to come to a head. That's not quick enough. Well, it seems that way. There's no disputing that. I know, they were supposed to bring it up in a Football League meeting. It didn't happen. I'd love to know why. I mean, there's been many excuses, but as someone who has suffered because of this situation, we want it now, not at the end of the season. It's too late. by the end of the season, there'll be more managers and coaches, black and ethnic minority managers and coaches, who will still have suffered because of this. Now, there needs to be a change, but we can't keep sitting on our hands. It has to be now. Where does the problem lie, do you think, just going back? Do you support the Rooney Rule as it is in America, or an adaptation of that here? I mean, where do you think the problem lies? Is it at grassroots? No. I think the issue is not grassroots, it's the professional game. See, it's as soon as you're qualified and you have aspirations to be within the professional game, you seem to hit a brick wall then. Mm-hmm. Now, my thoughts around it are, a lot of chairmen, chief executives, managers, chief executives and chairman, owners are from a different era, more often than not, where seeing people of black and ethnic minority in management roles, in senior roles, something that they've seen. It's not something that their eyes are comfortable with. It's not something that they've ever seen before. So actually being able to deal with that and understand that and accept that is different. It's part of something we call change. And change is slow. It's difficult for people to accept. And it's something that needs to be accepted. But the way forward is for more black and ethnic minority people in positions of power, and females in chief executive roles and parts of boards and things like that. So people realise that actually it's not an issue about skin colour or ethnicity. It's about, are you the person for the job? Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not good enough. I want it to be because there's more qualified people. The pool is better. There are better people qualified. If I'm the man for the job, then I should be allowed to actually interview for that job, and that's not open to people like me right now, and that is where there is somewhat of an inequality.
From what you're saying, I mean, it seems that the supporters are very self-policing in terms of that sort of thing, and the players to quite an extent. It seems to me that the powers that be, the owners of clubs, the chairman, need to go on a course and be educated in some way, because everything's targeted elsewhere, but they're the ones that are not being targeted because they own the clubs. And is that something that possibly needs to happen?
I think so. I mean, when you look at the Rooney Rule, if I'm a self-made millionaire or whatever and I put my money into a club, I should be able to pick and choose who I want to be a manager, and I have no problem with that. The problem is the process. For me, that's all I want to attack, because this is the only multi-million pound industry where you're the manager, you're the chairman, you don't want him as manager anymore, you want to put me in, and within 24 hours you can do it, with no process being actually adhered to at all. That doesn't really make sense, but that is what happens. So I would like transparency in the process from application to appointment, so people know who's applied for the job, who hasn't been, forwarded to the next stage, why. More transparency, and if that happens, then this situation will never arise.
Because you get situations where someone gets appointed to a job who has no qualifications, whereas you've got people applying for those jobs who've got the qualifications. So it needs to be.
So it's just a process. For me, I'm with you. All I would want to really attack is the process. Let's have some transparency so that everyone sort of has an idea of, if I apply for the job and I don't get it, then I get some feedback why I haven't been to the interview stage. If I get an interview, then explain to me what the procedure is, and if I get it, what happens. If I don't, what happens. But what I want to be able to do is be exposed to a chairman who, I might not get the job, but I might have interviewed so well that he logs that. And then if someone says to him, another chairman says to him, I'm looking for a manager, what do you think? He could recommend that, or if that job comes up again, I may be the man for the job. But that is an opportunity that isn't open to black and ethnic minority coaches enough at the moment.
Okay, thanks Paul. Jason Ewell's under-21 side played their first ever Premier League Cup game against AFC Wimbledon on Tuesday night. Here are the highlights and match reactions from the clash at Parkview Road.
Charlton's under-21 side confidently progressed through to the second round of the Premier League Cup with a 4-0 victory over AFC Wimbledon on Tuesday. The Addicts took the lead in a minute when Carlton Ahern Grant ran onto Morgan Fox's flick-on and fired home at the second attempt with an impressive angled finish. Jason Ewell's men had to wait until the second half to add to their lead, with Ahern Grant heavily involved again. The striker broke through, rounded Billy Bishop, and although his initial effort struck the post, Jack Munns was on hand to slot home Charlton's second of the night. Tariq Holmes-Dennis made it 3 just before the hour when he picked up the ball in midfield and struck a powerful swerving effort past Bishop. The versatile defender impressed on the night, playing out of position at right back. Six minutes later came the goal of the night when Callum Harriott picked up a short corner, dropped his shoulder and curled a brilliant effort past the helpless Bishop and the Wimbledon goal to complete what proved to be an impressive night in front of goal for Yule's men.
Happy with the performance and the result as much as that. As I said to the boys before the game, it was about seeing where we are in the qualifying round 2 and where we want to get to, which is the final. I said it starts from tonight, and it's no matter who we play against, that's our aim of beating that team in front of us and wanting to get to the final. We said because we want to win competitions.
First half we rode the storm a bit for about the first 15 minutes. They come out firing, and then we really showed what we're capable of in the second half with 3 good goals. So boys done really well.
For me, I don't care if it's someone's shin from a yard or someone's from 35 yards. It's just about getting the ball in the back of the net, and it is always nice when you round off a good move with an even better finish as well. But it's for these guys now, it's just terms of what we've done over the last, say, 4 or 5 games now. It's just trying to get good habits on a regular basis, and that's shown throughout the 4 games that we've played that we've kept clean sheets, 2 of them being in cup competitions, and it's just about continuing winning the habits now, and good habits.
Okay, we're going to take a look at some more of your questions via the tweets. Pete, you've got them in front of you?
Yeah, Alex Reeve said, what is your most memorable Charlton moment?
Oh, God.
Been a few.
There's been a few. First game. That was Norwich
at
home.
Recall that?
Yeah, Norwich at home. Played against Raw Fox, I remember it. And, to have all your parents there. I remember, Lenny telling me I was playing and going home, and, I think I flew home. I was flying on air, I think. It was absolutely amazing. So, and we won the first game. I suppose representing England at under-21s, being a Charlton player, that was something special. I spoke to the manager, Dave Sexton, about where he saw me, and he admitted that they didn't look at Charlton players. People like Scott Minto, Anthony Barnes, all of them should have played, and they didn't look at us. He was looking at another player the day that David Hurst at Sheffield Wednesday, the day that he saw me, which was incredible. And I moaned, actually. There's some great players at Charlton that are not getting a look in. Obviously, the playoff final was absolutely fantastic.
Even though you were in the suit.
Listen. It was funny because I was sitting near curbs when the penalties were, and it was a sight for sore eyes. He couldn't handle it at all.
How did you cope with the penalties? Because I was behind the goal and I was heading.
I didn't watch them.
Well, the minute it gets to penalties for a player, it's up in the air. Yeah. It literally is. It's the people that hold their nerve. It's the ones that's technique for taking penalties under pressure. The best ones win, and that's what happened.
Sean Newton goes up for the 7th penalty, and I think the whole world's thinking.
Well, Sean was always going to score, but he was going to scuff it.
Yeah.
Sean was always going to score, and he'd mean to put it there, but it was going over there, and that was Sean.
I was speaking to John Robinson the other week, and he said exactly the same. He said his penalty was no better than Michael Gray's. If you look at that,
Sean was always going to. But you know what? Sean had no fear. That's why he was great taking the penalty.
Yeah.
Because he had no fear. He'd just go up, smash it in there, and walk back and go, what's wrong with that? Do you know what I mean? He'd scuff it in, it'd pea roll in, and he'd go, it went in, didn't it? What's wrong with that? Yeah, exactly. and that's what he was.
I just can't imagine the fear that would go through you as you're taking that walk from the halfway line at Wembley and the playoff final to that penalty spot.
I think I can remember Charlton playing in some cup game, and we had to take penalties. I can remember it when I first was playing. I can't remember what cup it was. But we had to take penalties, and that's the only time I've ever done it. And I scored, but it was like, it's nerve-wracking. Yeah. There is because everyone is looking at you. Now think about that at Wembley. TV, everything. Everyone's looking at you.
Yeah.
So you're going up to take this penalty. It's been a magnificent game. You don't know who's going to win it.
Yeah.
And so for Michael Gray, I mean, he went on to play for England after that. So, he showed incredible strength. It's a difficult one.
Okay, Martin Adkins says, what is it about CFC that meant you played the best football of your career?
It's just a lovely place to play football. The camaraderie was good. The group of players that I'd played with most times was good. It's just a lovely place. You enjoyed it. And I enjoyed my football here. You know, there's other places I went to where, yeah, you know what, I might have played at a higher level, I might have even got paid better, but it wasn't enjoyable. You know, here it was like serious, but it was also fun. You know.
Quick yes or no from Daniel Smith. Can Charlton get promoted this year? Yes. Or no? Good man.
Okay, we'll have a look at some of the ticket news for the upcoming games. Tickets for Charlton's upcoming matches are now on sale and can be bought online, over the phone or in person from the ticket office. The home matches against Bolton and Sheffield Wednesday are on general sale, while the trips to Bournemouth and Fulham are on restricted sale. Finally, tickets for the matches against Reading and Leeds are expected to go on sale next week. If you can't make it to the Valley, you can always listen to Pete's commentary on our Matchday live service on CFC Player starting from 2:30 p.m. After the final whistle, CFC Player subscribers can watch post-match reaction from Bob Peters. Also, there's a chance to remind you that on Monday, the under-21s are in action here at the Valley against Sheffield United at 2 p.m. Okay, coming to the end nearly, Paul. A little bit of fun with you now. We've gone through the archives and we've found some photos of you over the years, and we want to try and identify what year they're from. So we'll throw the first one up now. There we go.
Wow.
That's a classic.
That's definitely
Forest.
Yeah, it's Forest. So it's got 89.
1988. That one.
Was that El Barrett? I think.
The old woolly shirt there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Wow, that is an old. Look at the ref.
He looks like a 1950s.
I'm telling you, he does, doesn't he?
This won't have to be black and white. This photo. Not that long ago, was it?
It's incredible.
But yeah, 1 year out, you nearly got there. Let's have a look at the next one. There we go.
Oh, that's top.
Oh, I'm guessing that
one. Is that 91?
That's 1990. Again, you're 1 year out. So I think Chris Hooton
was into the 91.
He was into the 91. Oh no.
Chris Hooton as well.
Is that Chris Hooton? Oh, I'd love to take that picture. I saw Chris the other day just to show him.
Leaving him for dead on the floor. Like
well,
that.
You know, lovely day that.
Let's throw the third one up.
Oh, that's easy, surely. If you don't get this, I'm having
It's like a pre-season game to me.
It does look like a pre-season game, doesn't it?
It's probably Welling.
I think it is Welling, yeah.
We only wore that kit a couple of times, didn't we?
Yeah, that was just for the one season as well. So
yeah, I can remember wearing that at Arsenal and Man United.
Yeah, that's so that would be the year we went up.
Yeah.
Which of course it was
98.
1998. Yeah. We need some sort of binging sound there, don't we? Okay, we've got one last one. There you go.
Oh God, Sheffield Wednesday, that one, mate. I can't remember what year that is though. Kim Grant, yeah, I can't remember what.
Sheffield Wednesday 2-0 win, was it?
It was 2-0.
Scored a penalty.
Yeah. 94.
1996.
Just
about January.
Terrible
January, February. So
yeah, that was a wonderful. I mean, there's been some wonderful moments at this club. There really have, and you know, it's just a wonderful place to play football.
And under floodlights as well. That to me just seems to be magical.
It's fantastic because we weren't expected to win that at all, and it was a wonderful game. It was a wonderful performance. Did someone get sent off?
Well, Sheffield Wednesday, I'm not sure. It was a rare sort of cup run that we had.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I've got to say,
we've had about two since then.
Yeah, but enjoyable.
Okay, right, we're coming to the end of the show. There's just time for me to thank Peter Finch and Paul Mortimer. Thanks, guys, for joining us tonight ahead of Saturday's match. And I'll leave you with some of our favourite Paul Mortimer moments in a Charlton shirt. Good evening.